I'm David Perry for Kasem. These are the nation's biggest hits by the world's hottest stars. Legendary pop singer Tony Bennett is best known for I Left My Heart in San Francisco, but he's now become known to a whole new generation of fans thanks to appearances on The Simpsons and MTV, and he's a really good friend of the Chili Peppers. Tony Bennett has been a big star since 1951 when he started to hit with classic songs like Because of You, Cold, Cold Heart, and Rags to Riches. His name has become synonymous with high-class club singing thanks to numerous appearances in Las Vegas and Atlantic City. He's a man whose best friends over the years have included greats like Sammy Davis Jr. and Frank Sinatra. But in recent years, Tony's gotten a whole new group of friends, and he's found a whole new audience. You see, after Tony asked his son Danny Bennett to be his manager, Danny decided to move his dad in new directions. Danny didn't ask his dad to change his singing style, but he did have him do a cameo appearance as himself on The Simpsons. Then Danny convinced an alternative rock station in Boston to play some of his dad's songs, and the phones went crazy. Then Danny had Tony Bennett do an interview with talk show host Jon Stewart on MTV, and he had his father appear at shows by alternative bands like the Lemonheads and the Teenage Fan Club. All of a sudden, Tony Bennett found himself with a whole new, very young audience. And when the superstar singer appeared at the Grammys this year, he struck up a friendship with the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Tony says he's especially good friends with the member of the Chili Peppers named Flea, who he says reminds him of Jimmy Durante. In fact, Tony Bennett may be the only man in history who can claim to have been friends of both Flea and legendary songwriter Irving Berlin in the same lifetime. That's our update on the ever-changing career of Tony Bennett. Now, on with the countdown.
Counting down the hits with Kasem.
Now we're up to the latest hit for a super hot male vocal group who last year shared a stage with singing legend Tony Bennett at Tony Bennett's personal request. Last November, Tony Bennett appeared on the VH1 music show called Storytellers. Along with highlighting the singing of a different music icon every week, the show also tries to match them up with a newer talent, someone who was influenced by their singing. In the case of Tony Bennett, there were a lot of possible pairings to choose from. So the show's producers decided to leave it up to Tony himself. They asked him what current act really spoke to him with their music. What act did he think was really drawing from his sound? Without hesitation, he gave them his answer. Tony said, the Backstreet Boys. Turns out, Tony Bennett does a great job of keeping up to date on what's happening in modern music. And he said he's been really impressed with the phrasing and the harmonies used by the Backstreet Boys, which is how the Backstreet Boys came to appear with Tony Bennett on Storytellers, where they sang 3 songs of their own with him and then joined Tony for his song, Swingin' on a Star. A song they sang with him with no rehearsal other than a quick version in the dressing room and a second run-through at the sound check. This week, the Backstreet Boys are singing one of their own hits on American Top 40.
The hits from coast to coast.